Welcome guys to a new episode of Cooking with Duffin. Today I've got a special treat for you. What's that sound? That's right, it's our Christmas special. Ho ho yeah! This is a low-carb dish, which means it's great for you guys that have an office job and you don't waste that many calories. You can take this to your workplace or you can just enjoy a super delicious dish. Each serving has about 590 calories, of which are 54 grams protein, 36 grams carbs, and 25 grams fat. This recipe has 4 main components: a vegetable broth, quinoa that will cook in the broth, chicken breast with roasted almonds and cranberries, and roasted butternut squash with shallots and a bit of cinnamon. In this video, I'll show you everything step by step that you need to do in order to get your sweet holiday special themed meal prep. Let's get started with the broth. A broth is a great way to give a lot of taste and flavor to your food and minimizing all the food waste that you have in the kitchen. Think about the trimmings from carrots, from onions, from potatoes. All those things can be used to make a delicious broth. You can do your own broth with whatever vegetables or even bones that you'd like. If you have something in your kitchen that you're probably going to throw away, maybe you can do a very delicious broth with it instead, saving some money, eliminating food waste, and getting more bang for your buck. A broth is very unique. It's your way of putting your soul into the dish. You can add some mushrooms for that umami flavor. You can burn some onions and you'll give it a bit of more of earthy taste. Or you can do whatever you'd like because it's your broth and you should have it your way. As for the quinoa, we'll be cooking it in the broth. So whatever you do with it, it's going to bring a lot of flavor to our quinoa. As for the chicken, we'll be sautéing it with a bit of olive oil, garlic, some thyme, some pepper, and we'll add the roasted almonds and the cranberries. Also, to give it a bit more green color and a bit more crunchiness, you can cook some kale for about 30 seconds and then add it to the chicken and saute it with the rest of the things so it can get a lot of flavor and you'll get a really good dish. The butternut squash is probably one of my favorite elements of this dish. It's super easy to cook, it tastes amazing, and that little cinnamon taste is... it's amazing. Alright guys, it's time for me to go down here and show you how the magic is done. Start off by preparing the ingredients for your broth. Chop everything just like you want it. It doesn't really matter because everything's going to a big pot and it's going to cook for at least 1 hour to really bring out the flavors and give our dish a very good flavor. And remember guys, almost everything that you throw away in the garbage can be used to make a delicious broth. Also, all of the ingredients are way down in the description. The next step is simple. Grab a pot or your pressure cooker, add a bit of olive oil, not too much or the broth will get too fatty, and start with sauteing some of the ingredients. Here I started with the carrots and the onions so they can give a bit more of flavor to the broth. Then you can throw it all in there and just saute it a bit more to release more flavors and aroma, and when you think you're good, add some water, close it, and let it simmer for at least 1 hour. The more you cook it, the more flavor it will release, so make sure to take your time. Also, because you're going to do this broth, you might as well do some extra that you can use on your future meal preps. Remember when I said that the broth is your way of adding your soul into the dish? Well, this is the best time that you can go crazy with spices. For this broth in particular, I only use a bit of salt, some pepper, and bay leaf. But you can use anything you'd like. Be creative, make your own dish. But it's okay if you want to do it just the way I did, because it will be delicious. Would you look at that? It looks great, the color's great, it smells great, and it's ready to go. Add some water and let it simmer for at least 1 hour. In the meantime, this is the perfect opportunity to get started with your butternut squash. Start by dicing some shallots and then cutting your butternut squash into small cubes. I used all the trimmings from the shallots and the butternut squash and I added them into the broth for extra flavor. Get a tray that you can take to the oven, put some olive oil, some shallots, the cubes from the butternut squash, just a little bit of salt and pepper, and get it in the oven 180 degrees Celsius for at least 45 minutes or until you think it's cooked. And while you're at it, start roasting the almonds. In this recipe, I use 24 grams of almonds. And how do you know if it's cooked? That's simple. Open the oven and taste just a small cube. This should be enough to let you know. So you've got your broth cooking, you've got your butternut squash and almonds, so what's next? That's right, the chicken. Get your chicken, dice it into small cubes, chop some garlic and save it for later because the broth should be almost ready. Why did I choose chicken? Well, it's simple. Number one, I'm madly in love with chicken. It's true, I love chicken. Number two, I was going to use turkey, but there was a huge queue for the butchers and the turkey that was being sold outside of the butchers didn't really look that good. And number three, I thought that chicken would appeal to most people. However, you can use pork, beef, turkey, chicken, anything you'd like. I'm sure that it's still gonna taste amazing. So it's been about 1 hour. The broth is ready to go. It's time to strain it. How do you do it? It's simple. Just get in there and get all of that sweet juice out of those vegetables. I guarantee that it will be delicious. Now that the broth is ready, you know what time it is. It's time to cook our quinoa in that delicious broth. It's super simple. You'll want to use twice as much liquid as the quinoa. So in this video, I used 100 grams of quinoa, which means I used 200 grams of broth. What you want to do is boil the broth, and when it's on boiling point, add the quinoa, turn your heat to the minimum, cover it, and let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. I recommend that you check every now and then just to see how it's going. My quinoa was ready in about 15 minutes and it was delicious. Your almonds should be roasted by now, so it's time to go nuts. Grab the almonds and take them to a grinder. For this video, I used the almonds in two ways. One of them was just grinding them into a little bit small pieces so I can saute them with the chicken, and the other one was grinding them into almost like flour so I could sprinkle them on top of the meal when it's ready. Okay guys, so we have our butternut squash ready, we have the broth, we have the almonds ready to go. There's only one thing missing, that's the chicken. Grab your chicken, get a saute, a little bit of olive oil, again not too much, and let's get cooking. Wait a little bit for your pan to heat up because when you add the chicken, you want to hear the sizzle right away. Add some salt, some pepper, and the thyme. Let it cook for a little bit. It's going to start to release a lot of water and you want to let that water evaporate so then you can saute the chicken, add the almonds, and add the cranberries. After you've added all the ingredients, let it cook for a little while longer so it can get some color and some delicious flavor. We're almost done. Would you look at that chicken? It looks absolutely delicious. Alright guys, we have all the 4 components of the dish. It's time to plate. After you've plated everything, sprinkle a little bit of that roasted almond on top for a great flavor. But wait, didn't I say that I also used kale? So I heated up some water to boiling point, put in the kale for at least 20 seconds, and then sautéed it with just a little bit of garlic and olive oil. Just a little bit. And boy oh boy, it instantly looked better, and it also reminded me more of a Christmas themed meal prep. So my post-cooking thoughts. For me personally, I'd probably ramp up the carbs a bit because I tend to work out more, but I find that this is a very balanced meal for most people. Maybe I'd like to add some more greens to give some color and crunchiness to the dish, but besides that, I'm very happy with the final result. One thing that I really wasn't certain about was the cinnamon on the butternut squash. I was afraid that I was going to ruin the taste, but I was super glad when I noticed that it enhanced all the flavors and it gave a little bit of that Christmas touch that I really wanted to. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'd like to thank everyone that helped me with the idea for this recipe, and also a shout out to the guys on Reddit that asked me to do a holiday themed meal prep video. Thank you very much, you guys are awesome. Guys, today I'm going to teach you how to say Merry Christmas in Portuguese. Are you ready? Here it goes. Feliz Natal. Let me say again. Feliz Natal. I know it's still a bit early to say that, but in just about 2 weeks, you'll be able to impress your friends. And what the hell is wrong with this beard, man? Thank you for watching, guys. If you like this video, subscribe to my videos. If you'd like to see more, click the like button. And if you have any ideas you'd like me to cook, just leave a comment below. All your feedback is really appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. If you're looking for a low carb, low fat, low protein, low calorie meal prep, I've also got you covered. Get some kale, some cinnamon, and there you go. This is my budget version.